Now that you have configured GNS3 for our new topology, I'm going to talk about this topology a little bit, and after that I will go into BGP discussion. And actually I'm not going to be deep into theories of BGP. What I am doing here is to, pinpoint the design specification of BGP on MikroTik routers, and I show you how you can do this. I'm going to touch a little BGP theories, of course, but what I am doing here is this. You need to have a working interior gateway protocol in your network. Actually, you need to have a kind of IGP protocol such as OSPF, RIP, or anything else in your network. You remember that I had configured OSPF in my network and I had several areas. What I am going to do, I want to make it a little simple. And I want to put all of these routers into OSPF area 0 so that I am not so concerned about OSPF implementation here. But what I am going to do next is this. I want to connect to ISP1 and ISP2. They may have their own IGPs, but this is not what I care about. What I am caring about is this. I just want to have a BGP connection to ISP1 and ISP2. So I may have another kind of IGP set between my router and ISP router. That's okay. We may go for RIP, for example, or OSPF, and we have another OSPF instance in our network to connect to ISP1 or ISP2. That's okay. I may go for OSPF in one side and RIP on the other side. But what I am going to do next is to create a BGP neighborship between ISP1 and router 4 and between ISP2 and router 3. So this is the type of connection that I want to have, and after that I can go to BGP configuration. So let's start with this. I have changed the connection between router 4 and ISP1 to 100.148.0 network, and I have changed router 5. Its role is gonna be ISP2, and now I'm going to remove this from my OSPF configuration. I don't want to have these here. Let's go and start with this configuration, and next I will go through the theories. So on router 1, I just want to have area 0, so I put all networks into area 0. That's gonna be area backbone. I'm going to remove this area, and you can see that all interfaces go into area backbone in a minute. Let's go to router 2 again. Router 2 is gonna have such a thing. If I close this and go to networks, I want to put this under area backbone. Click on OK, go to areas and remove area 24. We don't need it anymore, but we want to have this here under area backbone. You can see that it changes. And let's go to router 3. And router 3, we need to be a little cautious because we don't want Ethernet 2 to be part of our OSPF network, but other interfaces should go under this. And this is 172.16.35 network. So let's go to router 3, and first of all I need to go to networks, remove this network, and these networks should go under area backbone. So double click on this and make it backbone. This one as well, go to backbone, go to areas and remove these two areas, we don't need them. Router 4 again needs a little caution, so Ethernet 2 is not going to be part of OSPF. So let's go to router 4. This is router 4, and open it. The networks are going to be all under area 20, under area 0. So this is going to be area backbone. Again, this one backbone, and I can safely remove them. I don't need them. This 3, and this one should go under area backbone as well. So I don't need to have area 24 anymore. Let's go to router 5. That is my ISP1 now. If I open IP addresses, you can see that I have only, no, this is not my router 5. This is the new router that is ISP1 right now. It has only one interface, 100, 148, 100. That's okay. It does not contribute to any routing protocol. That's okay again. And now I want to connect to my next router, that is router 5, but I'm going to change its name using system identity to ISP2, and now it is ISP2, and this is not going to be part of OSPF, so the networks are all going to be removed. And areas, there is no area, and now you can see that instance is not running. And make sure that no other routing protocols such as RIP is working here. That's okay. So this is a configuration that I just created. If I go to router 1 and check the routes, you can see that I can reach to all routes in my network except those that I have excluded from my own network. They are going to be my ISPs. Okay, now I want to talk about BGP. And what is BGP? BGP is Border Gateway Protocol. And why would we go for Border Gateway Protocol? We need kind of protocol to connect between autonomous systems. Autonomous systems can be enterprises in the internet. They can be, big networks in the internet. And if they have at least 2 connections to ISPs, they may want to connect to internet and be part of its routing system. Or if they are too big, they can connect to internet and be one end of internet. Okay, so this is not so important to talk about BGP basics, but what I am talking about is this. BGP is multi-protocol. It doesn't care about its its what is the IGP. It doesn't care about the IGP. Underline that. It doesn't care about what routing information is in IGP. It creates its BGP. It's actually the Border Gateway Protocol neighborships with different routers. It selects some very specific networks and distributes these networks between these routers, routing protocol, and it doesn't touch your IGP too much. So why would we go for IGP before configuring BGP if BGP does not care about IGP? BGP needs to create neighborship. Okay? This kind of OSPF, you need to connect to some router to be able to send and receive updates to and from that router. For example, if I want to configure a connection between router 4 and router 1, BGP does not care about if router 1 is connected to router 4 directly. What BGP wants to know is this: can I reach router 1 through one or the other way? For example, if I want to create a neighborship between router 4 and router 1 using loopback interfaces, is router 1's loopback interfaces reachable when I am pinging it using my loopback interface? If this is true, I can create the connection. I don't care if it is connected to me or it is multiple hops away. What I care about this is this: I just want to be able to reach its IP address. So I don't need to be in the same subnet. I don't need to be connected to that router. I just need to reach to that router. That's the only thing that I care about. So this connection can be interior or can be exterior. So I can connect to one router and put it in my own autonomous system number. For example, I am AS number 65000. Or I can connect to another router in just another autonomous system. For example, I can connect to an AS, that is the autonomous system. I can call it AS because it is easier to call that. I can connect to AS5, for example, and my AS can be, for example, 65,000. It doesn't matter. But If I connect to a router in my own autonomous system, I may behave differently from what I will do if I connect to another autonomous system's router. So I'm going to talk about these differences, and they are going to be so important. And I want to break things down to very, very small pieces so that I can cover all BGP configuration of MikroTik routers. And if you know this configuration, you can easily go and configure this on Cisco routers and Juniper routers or anything else. Just know that BGP isn't a standard, and because this is a standard, you can easily transfer your knowledge from one platform to another platform. Okay, in next section, I want to start configuring my internal BGP routers and show you how you can do this. But for now, let me select which routers are going to, be part of my BGP network. For the first configuration, I want to put all of these routers into BGP configuration. But after that, I need to be selective. I don't need all my routers to know all those routes, and a lot of routes are in BGP routing table. If you choose one of internet routers and take a look at its routing table, you can see that more than 300,000 routes are in their routing table. And I don't want to advertise all of them into my internal routers. I just want to have these routes on some of my routers, and I'm going to be selective in next section. I want to show you how you can do that. But because we have a limited number of routers, first of all, let's put all of those into BGP configuration and see the result.